Well, The Blind releases September 28th, and the the story of Phil and Kay Robertson and their beginnings leading up to the duck call. So go ahead and just tell us about that movie and what to expect.
Yeah, it's incredible. We formed a production company, and so this idea came up to actually do this movie. And we kind of were thinking, I don't know if should we start with our own family as far as movies go, because we had a lot of ideas on stuff we want to put out and just positive content. We know after Duck Dynasty, we know the power of media and the just entertainment and how vital and crucial that is. We can see the kind of the dark side of it a lot in society. And so we wanted to try to step forward and do something positive. And we just kept coming back to this idea and just thought, man, it's such an incredible story of mom and dad and how they kind of made that turn to faith. It was looking pretty dire. Dad was kind of a bad guy, and well, not kind of, he was a bad guy. Terrible father, terrible husband. He'd gotten fired from his job and kind of just wasted talent. He was a talented guy, but he just kind of was throwing it all away, was drunk all the time. And then there's this powerful moment where his sister, dad had kicked us out of the house, and it looked like life was going to be tragic for the little Robertson family. But dad's sister, Jan, Aunt Jan, sent a preacher up to the bar my dad was running, and just begged him to preach the gospel to him. And she said, if you convert him, he'll convert thousands. And to this day, I don't know how she knew that somehow he would turn into some kind of evangelist type person. But so the movie shows that angle and shows where Phil was in his life and where we were as little kids. And then he has this dramatic turn to God when he was 28 years old. And, life has been way better ever since, for sure. And so, yeah, it just kind of shows that struggle. I think a lot of people can find themselves somewhere in there in their lives where they're at, either mom's shoes or dad's shoes or our shoes as kids. Fun thing is I'm 2 years old in the movie, and I'm played by my grandson, John Shepherd. So it's kind of fun watching him play little Willie in diapers. So yeah, it's tough to watch.
Are you happy with his portrayal?
Yeah, I think he did good. I think I'm the only one who can make out the only line, which he said, "I'm TT man," at the dinner table. And I knew what he was saying, but probably the viewer won't catch that. But we got a kick out of watching that. And but yeah, in some ways it was hard to watch. Just hard to watch that portrayal, knowing the pain and everything your parents were going through. Obviously, I wasn't aware at the time of all that. As I grew up, I would always hear stories about that, what dad had come through, and their marriage had come through, and the forgiveness that had to take place and all that. So, and it was like a flashback, because I can it's a timepiece. So it's set in the 60s and actually 50s, 60s, and early 70s. And so, so looking at that, I can remember, how everything looked and what it was like. And it kind of brings you to the journey of, when he kind of has the idea for the duck call, and that's where it stops. And so obviously we know how it all ends up. And but to look back, had the preacher not gone, had Phil not come around to the Lord, who knows what would have happened, and my life would look completely different.